Gender stereotypes tell people how they should behave and what they can do based on whether they are male or female. These ideas come from a long time ago and are influenced by culture and society, affecting how people see themselves and relate to others. To make things fair for everyone, it's important to learn about these stereotypes and try to change them by showing different kinds of people and treating everyone equally. Isang stereotype ng kasarian ay isang pangkalahatang pananaw o preconception tungkol sa mga katangian o mga tungkulin na mayroon ng nararapat na taglayin o gumanap ang mga kababaihan at kalalakihan. Ang isang stereotype ng kasarian ay nakapinsala kapag nililimita nito ang kakayahan ng kababaihan at kalalakihan na paunlarin ng kanilang mga personal na kakayahan. Ituloy ang kanilang mga profesional na karera at gumawa ng mga pagpipilian tungkol sa kanilang buhay. Gender stereotypes tell people how they should behave and what they can do based on whether they are male or female. These ideas come from a long time ago and are influenced by culture and society, affecting how people see themselves and relate to others. To make things fair for everyone, it's important to learn about these stereotypes and try to change them by showing different kinds of people and treating everyone equally. Two gender stereotypes and capacities between men and women. Men, good in math and science, physical strong, firm decision maker. Women, good in arts and less intellectual pursuit, physically weaker and fragile, wishy-washy or fickle-minded in decision making. Gender stereotypes and traits and characteristics between men and women. Men, active, aloof, aggressive, independent, brave. Women, passive, loving, peaceful, dependent, fearful.
According to Dr. Ralph G. Perino, 2000, the family, schools, peers, mass media, public opinion, and religion play a major role in socialization and ultimately in the educational process. Each of us goes about life in a way that we often believe is under our immediate control and influence. It seems logical that the actions we take and the impact of those actions are based on a series of logical rational decisions chosen and filtered by choice, not chance. Ayon kay Dr. Ralph G. Pereno, sabi dito na family, school, peers, mass media, public opinion, and religion ay merong major role sa isang pag-socialize ng isang tao ganun o isang lipunan ganun. At kailangan ay pinag-aaralan siya o nasa proseso or educational process, gano'n. Although this seems a reasonable manner in which to assess one's lot in life, it is far from reality, particularly in the area of education. One of the most dramatic impact on a child education is that of the socialization process. Sabi dito, kung paano daw susuriin ang kalagayan ng isang tao sa buhay ay malayo ito sa realidad. Dito naman ay kung paano magiging impact sa bata ang pag-aaral, kung paano mo makipag-socialize sa isang tao or socialization process. Ang una, family. Pangalawa, church. Pangatlo, mass media. 4, school. 5, peers. Sa family, dito kung paano ka tuturuan, kung paano ka gumalaw ng tama, kung ano yung tama at mali, ganon. Sabihin sa'yo ng mga magulang mo or kapatid, ate, kuya. Sa church naman, kung paano ka matututo ng mabuting puso or paano ka matuto ng salita ng Diyos. Dito sa mass media, kung ano yung nakikita mo sa TV or napapanood, ganon. At sa cellphone, ganon, kung ano yung lumalabas sa cellphone mo na kung ano-ano na pwede mong makuhanan ng kaalaman. Sa school, kung yung mga kaklase mo, ganon. Kung paano makipag-socialize sa kanila or kung paano makisama sa teacher mo, sa iba pang mga bata na nakakasalamuha mo sa araw ng yung klase, ganon. Peers, yung mga mga kapantay mo lang, ganon. O mga kasamaan mo rin na nagiging kaibigan mo, ganon. Na kung paano ka makisama, ganon din ipapakita nila sa'yo. Kung mabait ka, mabait din sila sa'yo, ganon.
So one of the areas or channel of socialization is the family. So what is the family? In the context of human society, a family, from Latin familia, is a group of related either by consanguinity by recognized birth, affinity by marriage or other relationship, or co-residents, relatives, and servants. It is also known as the basic unit for raising children. In most societies, the family is the principal institution for the socialization of children. So basically, family is a group of people who are related by blood, marriage, or adoption, and who often live together and share emotional bonds, responsibilities, and support for each other. We have two types of family, which are immediate family and extended family. So ang immediate family is that ito yung mga common na nakakasama natin sa loob ng bahay, which is yung parents natin, mga ate natin, kuya, mga anak. And then, the extended family is that, ito naman yung mga lolo't lola natin, mga tita, tito, mga cousin, pamangkin. And sometimes, our extended family is also considered members of the immediate family, depending on individual's specific relationship with them. So, general structures of classifications family. So, una is the matrifocal family. This kind of family occurs commonly where women have the resources to rear their children by themselves, or where men are more mobile than women, opposite of patrifocal family. So, sa matrifocal family is that ito yung mga tinatawag nating mga single mom, which is yung mother lang tumatayong magulang ng mga bata. So the next one is the patriarchal family. It is a family in which the father is considered head of household. This is true regardless of which parent is the primary breadwinner in a household, with the working mom and stay-at-home dad, also known as father-centered family or father-dominated family, opposite of matriarchal family. So kung sa matrifocal family is yung mother yung nag-aalaga sa mga bata, dito naman sa patriarchal family is yung father. Kumbaga sa patriarchal family, yung father yung nasusunod sa loob ng bahay. The next one is the conjugal family, nuclear family, or the single family. It is a traditional form of family that includes only the husband, the wife, and the unmarried children who are not of age. So this kind of family ay common na nakikita sa bawat bahay where the father and mother are married, na sa mata ng Diyos at batas ay legal ang pagsasama nila. They also have a child. It's either their biological child or adopted, as long as the child ay hindi pa kasal at kasama nila sa bahay, para matawag na conjugal family. Avuncular family. It is a family composed of grandparent, a brother, his sister, and her children. So ang avuncular naman, ito yung mga lolo't lola sila na yung nagsilbing magulang ng mga batang walang tumayong magulang. Next is the childless family. It's sometimes the forgotten family, as it does not meet the traditional standards set by society. Childless family consists of a husband and wife living and working together. Many childless families take on the responsibility of pet ownership or have extensive contact with their nieces, nephews as substitutes for having their own children. So we called it a childless family because this family don't have capability to develop a child, or also wala pa silang planong magkaanak talaga. So that's why instead of magkaroon ng sariling anak, pinipili nilang mas bigyan ng pansin mga alagang hayop, or mas nag-a-adapt sila ng mga pets. Also, binubuhos din nila ang mga atensyon nila sa mga pamangkin or pinsan nilang bata, as if like sarili nila tong anak. Extended family. Family that extend beyond the nuclear family, including grandparents, aunts, uncles, and other relatives who all live nearby or in one household. So, sa said earlier, ito yung mga nakakasama natin sa loob ng bahay, which is mga lolo't lola natin, mga tito-tita, pinsan, relatives nearby or in one household. So, next is the family of choice or the chosen family. It is common within the LGBT community, both in academic literature and in colloquial vocabulary. It refers to the group of people in an individual's life that satisfies the typical role of family as a support system. Family of choice. So, this type of family doesn't have to be in a biological type of family, even though they are not blood related. Pero meron silang in common sa paniniwala at tingin nila sa buhay. At nag-stick or sama sila together to form a family or community. Kung saan sila, dito din nafe-feel nila kung saan sila belong. Blended family or step family describes families with mixed parents, one or both parents remarried, bringing children of the former family into the new family. So this type of family is the children ay merong father and mother, but one of those are their biological parents and yung the others naman are only stepmother or stepfather. So the last one is polygamous family. It is a family composed of a marriage that includes more than two partners. So this type of relationship of the man or woman having multiple partners. We have four types of polygamous, which are the polygamy, polyandry, fraternal polyandry, or the polyamory. First one is the polygamy. A man is married to more than one wife at a time, which is common in some parts of Middle East and Africa and is often associated with Islam. So, polygamy, dito inaalaw yung mga lalaki na magkaroon ng asawa na higit isa or dalawa. Common na nangyayari ito sa mga Muslim. So, the next one is the polyandry. When a woman is married to more than one husband at a time, traditionally practiced in areas of the Himalayan mountains, among Tibetans, in Nepal, in parts of China, and in parts of northern India. Ito naman yung kabaliktaran ng polygamy. Kung sa polygamy is yung lalaki ang pwedeng magkaroon ng 2 or more na asawa. Dito naman is yung babae. Common to na nangyayari sa China or sa ilang parts na northern India. Next is the fraternal polyandry, where 2 or more brothers are married to the same wife. So this is where 2 or more brothers by blood shares a single wives. For example, ang Salvador brothers ay napaibig na sa isang babae at pinakasalan nila ito. This is also legal sa ibang bansa pero hindi dito sa Pilipinas. The last one is the polyamory. If a marriage includes multiple husband and wives, group or conjoint marriage. So dito naman, this is where the both partners, the husband and the wife, allowed and may consent sila sa isa't isa na magkaroon pa sila ng another sexual relationship with others. Like silang mag-asawa ay mayroong magkabukod pa na iba pang asawa. Unlike in polygamy na yung isang partner lang ang mayroong multiple partners.
Processes involved in gender socialization in the family. Number 1 is manipulation. Means that people handle girls and boys differently as infants. Sinasabi dito na yung pinapahawak ng magulang ang mga batang lalaki at babae nang magkaiba mula pa sa kanilang pagiging sanggol. Mothers tend to use more physical stimulation on male infants and more verbal stimulation on female infants. B. Boy babies are tossed in the air. Sinasabi dito na mas madalas yung mga lalaki tinatalon-talon sa hangin. While sa mga girl naman is more careful sila na hawakan or yung delicate handling. Number 2, canalization. Means that people direct children's attention to gender-appropriate object. Tinutukoy dito yung mas tutok yung mga tao sa mga bagay na angkop sa kanilang kasarian. Halimbawa dito, yung batang lalaki ay binibigyan ng laruan, mga toy cars and machines. While sa may girls naman is binibigyan ng mga dolls and tea sets. Number 3, verbal affiliations. Telling children what they are and what is expected of them. Ito yung pagtuturo sa mga bata kung ano sila at kung ano yung inaasahan sa kanila. A. Brave boy, pretty girls. B. Boys don't cry, girls don't hit playmates. Dito naman is yung mga batang lalaki tinuturuan na maging matapang, habang yung mga babae naman ay tinuturuan na maging maganda. Number 4 is activity exposure. Familiarizing children to their gender appropriate task. A. Girls help their mother with housework. B. Boys are encouraged to play outside the house. Dito naman is yung mga batang babae ay tinuturuan or tumutulong sila sa kanilang ina sa mga gawaing bahay, habang yung mga batang lalaki naman ay inaasahan lang na maglaro sa labas ng bahay.
Church religion. It is a collection of cultural systems, belief systems, and worldviews that relate humanity to spirituality and moral values. The practication include rituals, sermons, commemoration or veneration of deity, gods or goddesses, sacrifices, festivals, feasts, trance, initiations, funerary services, matrimonial services, meditation, prayer, music, art, dance, public service, or other aspects of human culture. Church religion. Pag sinabing church or religion, dito nakapaloob yung iba't ibang paniniwala o pinaniniwalaan na isinasabuhay natin. Kasama na dito yung moral value, responsibility, honesty, loyalty, friendship. Sa church religion, nagkakaroon ng ritual, mga iba't ibang pinaniniwalaan o sinasamba na doon nananalig. Kasama na rin dito yung pagbibigay ng basbas sa mga pumanaw na tao. Matrimonial o pagpapakasal, at syempre pag sinabing church religion, pagsisimba o pagdadasal. Meron ding music, art, dance, meron ding public service na ginagawa tulad ng pagsisimba o pagsamba, pagkikinig sa salita ng Diyos. Effects of religion. Number 1, regular attendance at religious service is linked to healthy, stable family life, strong marriages, and well-behaved children. Sabi rito, mas healthy at nagiging stable yung family life. Kasama na rito ang pagiging matatag na pagsasama ng mag-asawa. Siyempre dahil matatag yung foundation ng magulang, kadalasan nagre-reflect yun sa kanilang mga anak. Number 2, religious worship also leads to a reduction in the incidence of domestic abuse, crime, substance abuse, and addiction. Sabi dito, nakakalis o nakakabawas ang paggawa ng krimen dahil malapit sila sa Panginoon, hindi sila basta-basta nakakagawa ng hindi magaganda. Number 3, in addition, religious practice can increase physical and mental health, longevity, and education attainment. Dagdag dito yung physical o mental health nila, mas nagagabayan sila, mas nakapag-focus sa pag-aaral nila at mental health.
Media. These are diversified media technologies that are intended to reach a large audience by mass communication. Dito yung sinasabi dito yung may malaking epekto to sa isipan ng mga kabataan. Dahil sa pagdating ng internet, ang television ay may mga kasamang partner bilang visual stimulant ng mga kabataan. Ang kultura na ipinapakita ng mass media ay nag-emphasize ng glamour, sexual satisfaction, at promiscuity, comedic vulgarity, violence, at immediate gratification of needs. Ang mga organization daw na ito yung namamahala sa mga technologies tulad ng mga television stations or publishing companies. Ito ay kilala bilang mass media. Dito na tayo sa may effects of media in socialization. Media sexualization of young female celebrities. Ito yung pagiging sexualisado ng imahe or image ng mga batang artista sa industriya ng showbiz. Halimbawa dito is yung pagpapakita ng mga batang artista sa mga sexy o yung mga revealing na outfit na napapanood natin sa social media at mga television. Number 2, video games at promote violence and negative stereotypes. Ang ilang video games ay nagtataglay ng mga karakter na nagpo-promote ng karahasan or mga violence at negatibong stereotype. Halimbawa dito is yung pagiging labis na violent ng mga karakter sa isang laro na maaaring magdulot ng negatibong impluensya sa mga manlalaro, katulad na lamang ng laro ng mga ML, Dota, or COD. Music lyrics and music videos that promote negative stereotypes and violence. Maraming kanta at mga music videos ang nagtataglay ng mga salitang nagpo-promote ng negatibong mga stereotype at mga violence. Halimbawa dito is yung mga kanta nagtataglay ng sexist ng mga linya o mga music video na nagpapakita ng karahasan, katulad na lamang ng music video ni Tony Fowler. Number 4, sex stereotypes in kids TV program. Ang ilang TV program para sa mga bata ay nagtataglay ng mga sex stereotypes sa kanilang mga karakter. Halimbawa dito is yung pagpapakita ng stereotype na ang mga babae ay mahina at kailangan ng lalaki upang sila ay maligtas, o ang stereotype na ang mga lalaki ay dapat laging matapang at macho o mas malakas sa mga babae. Different types of mass media. Broadcast media such as radio, recorded music, film and television transmit their information electronically. Isang halimbawa dito yung broadcast media ay ang pag-era ng balita sa through radio, maaaring maabot ang maraming audience sa pamamagitan ng mass communication. Number 2 is print media. Use a physical object such as a newspaper, book, pamphlet, or comics to distribute their information. Isang halimbawa ng print media ay yung paglathala ng isang newspaper. Ang newspaper ay isang physical object na ginagamit upang ipamahagi ang information sa mga nambabasa. Number 3 is outdoor media. is a form of mass media that comprises billboards, signs or placards placed inside and outside of commercial buildings, sports stadiums, shops, and buses. Other outdoor media include flying billboards, signs in tow of airplanes, blimps, and skywriting. Isang halimbawa dito, isang outdoor media ay ang mga billboards na makikita sa mga kalsada. Ang mga ito ay nagbibigay ng impormasyon o mga announcement sa mga taong dumaraan sa lugar na yon. Number 4 is public speaking and event organizing can also be considered as form of mass media. Isang halimbawa dito is yung public speaking ay yung pagtanghal sa isang public speaker sa isang event. So, through public speaking, maaring maiparating ng speaker ang kanyang mga mensahe para sa kanyang mga audience. Last is digital media. Comprises both internet and mobile mass communication. Internet media provides many mass media services such as email, websites, blogs, and internet-based radio and television. Ang digital media yung paggamit ng social media tulad ng Facebook at Twitter. Sa pamamagitan ng internet, maaaring maabot ang maraming audience at maipamahagi ang mga impormasyon o mensahe sa mass communication.
School. It is an institution for educating children. Any institution at which instruction is given in a particular discipline, a group of people, it is an artificial institution set up for the purpose of socialization and cultural transmission. The school can be regarded as formally constituted community as opposed to mutual communities. So how the school performs the function of socialization? 1. Through the curriculum, the school is a formal way, provides the children with knowledge of basic intellectual skills such as reading, writing, verbal expression, quantitative, and other cognitive abilities. Education teaches language and allow people to communicate with each other according to position in society. Cultural achievements of one society. Opportunity to acquire social and vocational ability which are necessary in order to make one a social, useful, and economically productive member of the society. Gender roles as prescribed as suitable roles by the society. So sabi po dito sa school, how the school performs the function of socialization. Sabi po nga dito sa topic po na to is, sa school po natututo po yung mga bata na magsulat, magbasa, at kung ano-ano pa, mga tinuturuan sila ng iba't ibang lengguwahe para makapag-communicate at makipag-socialize sa ibang tao. And then maka-acquire po ng mga iba't ibang activities through cultural society. Yun lang po.
So, number 2 is educational systems socialize students to become members of society to play meaningful roles in the complex network of independent position. This means that schools teach students how to fit into society and understand their roles in it. Think of it like learning how to play a part in a big play where everyone has their own important role to make everything work smoothly. Number 3 is the education helps in shaping values and attitudes to the needs of the contemporary society. So, ang sabi po dito is that education helps to teach students what is important in today's world and how they should think about things. It's like guiding them to understand what's right and wrong and how to behave in society. 4 is the education widens the mental horizons of pupils and teaches them new ways of looking at themselves and their society. This simply means is that schools help students see things from different perspectives and learn new ways to understand themselves and the world around them. It's like opening a door to new ideas and possibilities. Next is the education offers young people opportunities for intellectual, emotional, and social growth. Thus, education can be influential in promoting new values and stimulating adaptation of changing conditions. So, education isn't just about learning facts. It's also about growing as a person. Schools help students develop their minds, emotion, and social skills, which prepares them to face new challenges and adapt to change in the world. It's like giving them the tools they need to thrive in life. So number 6 is informally and especially through social clubs. The school enables the child to learn a number of other social roles and skills which are also important for his/her overall development as a member of society. So, as I've said earlier, school isn't just about classes and lessons. Through things like clubs and hanging out with friends, kids learn other important stuff too. They learn how to be part of different groups and pick up skills that help them fit in and grow as a person in society. It's like getting extra lesson on how to be a good member of the community outside of regular class time. First is education teaches the laws, traditions, and norms of the community, the rights that individuals will enjoy, and the responsibility that they will undertake. Education teaches how one is to behave toward his her playmates and adults. Education teaches how to share things and ideas. Education teaches how to compete responsibly. Schooling teaches how to cooperate. Schooling instills the community's pattern of obey rules. Schooling enables one to internalize the culture of one society. And last is education leads toward tolerant and humanitarian attitudes. For example, college graduates are expected to be more tolerant than high school graduates in their attitudes toward ethnic and social group.
Good afternoon. My name is Rab Lorno Sacramento, Representative Block 2. Ang topic ko dito ay peer groups. These are social group and primary group of people who have similar interests, age, background, and social status. The member of this group are likely to influence the person's beliefs and behavior. Peer groups contain hierarchies and distinct the pattern of behavior. So, may nakapaloob dito na dalawa sa peer groups. Isa na rito ang positive effects of peer groups and negative attributes and disadvantages peer groups. So, ang tanong sa number 1 sa peer groups, positive effects of peer groups. Serve as a source of information. So, ang sinasabi rito sa number 1, nagiging source of information mo sila. Example, anong latest ngayon, ganun. So, in short, napipid ka nila sa mga bago information. Number 2, teach gender roles. Sa number 2 naman, sa pakikihalubilo mo naman, nalalaman ang different perspective ng mga tao. At bawat isa. Number 3, serve as practicing venue to adulthood. Sa number 3 naman na to, sa environment na ginagalawan mo, doon ka natututo sa iba't ibang bagay. Number 4, teach unity and collective behavior in life. Sa number 4 naman, sa pakikisama mo naman natututo ka sa tamang asal at kung paano pahalagan ang mga pagkakaibigan na dahil doon ma-adapt mo sila sa ugali nila. Number 5, identify formation is a developmental process where a person acquire and sense of self. Number 5, dahil din sa peer group mo, mas nakikilala mo ang sarili mo. Mas nauunawaan mo yung sarili at kinikilos mo at mga ginagawa mo. Ano tayo tatao sa may negative attributes, disadvantages of peer groups? Number 1, peer pressure often used to describe instance where an influence directly pressure into changing his her behavior to match that of his her press taking up, smoking, and underage drinking are two best known example. Okay. So, dito naman sa amin number 1 na to. May tinatawag tayong peer pressure. So, in short, kahit mali na ginagawa mo, kasi nga na-influence ka nila na gawin mo yun. So parang katulad ng mga tropa mo bad influence, ganun. Nagagawa mo yung mga hindi naman karapat dapat na gawin na mali na hindi naman parang kalooban sa may sarili mo. So number 2, future problem. Sa future problem naman natin ay pwede ka din magkaroon ng problema dahil sa kanila. Tulad ng mga na hindi naman natama. Na mali na pala nagagawa mo, ganun. Number 3, risk behavior. Sa number 3 naman, may time na may magagawa kang decision na mali. Na late mo na yon ma-realize. Parang sa number 3 dito din nakapalo dito. Nasa uli ang pagsisisi. Yan. Number 4, aggregation of pro-social behavior. Sa number 4 naman na to. Dahil sa peer group na sinasamahan mo, nagiging mapusok ka na. Hindi ka na nag-iisip na bago mo gawin. Hindi ka muna nag-iisip bago mo gawin. Yan ang mali sa tao. Bago pumasok sa isang ganyan na proseso, dapat isipin mo muna na yun, bago mo gawin. So, number 5, sexual promiscuity. Sa number 5 na yan, may limitation din ang peer group. Kasi hindi lahat matatanggap ka. So, dapat humarap ka ng grupo na makakasundo mo sa lahat. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao matanggap ka. Dapat, pag alam mo ayaw na sa'yo, umalis ka na. Yun lang yun. Thank you, ma'am.